He tried to sneak up behind me in the woods tonight. Hey guys, welcome to the Hands On Podcast. Jim Miller, Dan Miller, Pat McGurn, and the old man. What are you laughing at?
Nothing. I didn't know what name you were going to do, did I?
Yeah.
He changes every time.
I'm a little disappointed, actually, with
I'm too tired. Yeah, I'm too tired. I'm too stressed out by the process of getting us set up for our 10th episode and having to walk you through it.
Watching Pat. It's very stressful to watch Pat.
Yep.
It's not very stressful from here. I sit back, I drink a beer, and watch Pat work.
It's true.
If we were just watching Pat, he'd still be struggling with the recorder.
I didn't go to school, but I feel like I'm basically a sound engineer at this point. Right? Like, if there's a school out there that wants to give me my doctorate in sound engineering, I'm willing to accept it. And I could probably pass any test they have.
I agree with that.
If you're a doctor, what am I?
You could be a student or my
Yes,
nurse.
a student.
Yeah, you could be my
maybe he's a resident.
hot nurse.
Who teaches
Jim.
the doctor? Who teaches
The
the doctor?
slutty nurse that slept her way
nurse?
through nurse school.
I'll play along.
Hey, the boss knows somebody like that.
Yeah. Slutty nurse. We're talking about mom that way. It ruins the fantasy, Dan.
Sorry, totally ruined it.
Because how can Pat imagine me in a little pinstripe?
Don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's working for him.
Yeah.
My head is swirling with Miller.
So is mine. I can't focus. So there were the fights this weekend. You had Demetrius Johnson defend his title against Tim Elliott, who was a huge 125 pounder. He's actually moving back up to 35s because there was too much on him, which is a little bit shitty because you go through the season, and they're trying to bring in 25 pounders. It's like, yeah, I'm good. Going back up. And of course, fighting in the house is going to be hard on you. That stuff's ridiculous. The schedule that they fight at. Fight with, fight around, fight in.
Yeah.
Adverb. That was good.
Was that right?
Yeah, you
Was
just
that right?
became a doctor with adverb. I don't know if it's right.
Yeah. So it was. It was good. I think that Elliott was just big. Johnson fought a good fight. Was able to control him in the later rounds, but Tim had him in trouble in the beginning. I think that was it the second?
First round.
That was the first one.
It looked like it was over there.
Yeah, had him pretty deep, but I think it was just because he was probably the biggest guy that Johnson's fought in a while.
Definitely.
Since he was fighting up to 35. I think he's got to be the biggest guy that's fought at 25.
Oh, for sure. Everybody else is all 5'2", 5'3". I mean, he's what, 5'10". A lot of length. Yeah, he's 5'10".
We have to pull that up because nobody believes you.
Hold up. Get the fuck up.
But it was, Johnson was able to.
Tape.
What?
Go
He was able to control him and got to some good dominant positions and stuff like that late in the fight, but just couldn't get a hold of him. The Benavidez fought Cejudo.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah, something like that. You're just as bad as I am.
Henry Cejudo.
And that when I watched that fight, the only thing I was thinking about is like, holy shit, Shorty's top 5 more.
Yeah.
I think Sayud is I'll call him Henry. Would be a tougher fight for him, but I like Benavidez, and I don't think he performed that well.
Could have had an off night.
Yeah, he could have had enough money, but just the way he was fighting was weird. The way he was striking was weird. He was very, I don't know. he was kind of like lunging at him. They were trying to set him up.
Probably trying to stay out. So he hits
Well, he
pretty
got
hard.
tagged.
He did. He almost.
Yeah, I know.
Tagged, yeah,
I
he
think
got
he's-
tagged in the first
He was
round a
trying to
couple
stay
times.
stay away more than normal, because he does have that kind of in and out style. But Sayuda hits hard, and he's not coming guys out. It's probably his game plan to just stay on the outside, and should just stuck to the way he always fights.
But yeah, it was I definitely thought that watching that fight, it's like, man, Shorty should be there.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
these are two. That was what number one and number two.
Right.
Yeah.
And extremely confident that he could beat either one of them. Give him a shot. Give him a shot.
He just needs a shot to prove it.
They're too scared.
Scared. You're on the same page. What
Yeah.
are we waiting on here?
Can you on
No, not
Johnson's fight?
No. How big is Tim Elliott?
How tall?
Oh.
Is Tim Elliott?
Excuse me.
How tall?
I only know how tall Johnson is right now.
We know he's only 5'3".
Correct, 5'3".
We're not looking at Conor McGregor.
No, he just comes up.
Yeah.
Oh, because he's a star.
Yeah.
He comes up on every freaking thing. He has his own fucking pop-up.
Tim Elliott is 5'7".
5'7".
Yeah, I knew it was 5'10".
Hmm.
He's not taller than me.
Yeah,
There's
he
no
is.
way.
At 5'7", he's taller than you.
That is not true.
Oh, come
That
on.
is not true.
He
know
is
how it works.
5'7" and a quarter, Dad.
Nope, I am 5'8". I used to be a little bit taller.
Used to be.
Used to be.
We know how that works.
Exactly.
They hype y'all. Dan was
Um,
always 6'2" on his
Yeah.
UFC.
I did. I did
6'2".
listen to his sister.
Because my whole career I've been hyped.
Just like football players. Ooh.
No, it's
This
just
would be like 6'2" in like 2 fights.
yeah. Yeah, no,
What's
Hey,
that?
they've never listed me as taller than 5'8".
Michelle Gelfer Dixon wants to know what you think of Elliott's style.
He's got that kind of like awkward, scrambling ability. It's he's good. He's dangerous. I think that he. When he was going for the guillotine, I think he was kind of trying to force it. But yeah, style-wise, I think he's a fun guy to watch. Fun guy to watch.
He's scrappy. He's tough. He's got that awkward kind of style. But yeah, he's fun to watch. He always comes to fight.
Is Pat? What is Pat doing? Are you using the switcher today, or are you gonna leave it on the same camera as?
I'm doing what you said. You said I want it to be on me the entire time. Right before we started. What? I'm confused here.
Well, that's what I'm paying you for.
Yeah. No, actually, Kristen said that there was a little bit of a fuzz, and I was trying to
stop
get
it.
rid of it. So I was doing it
Again?
quiet-like.
Yeah.
But it's too late for that now.
Yep.
Because you blew it up.
Let it ride.
Yep, the boss is off. I think it was him.
Yeah.
It's good.
I'm off now, huh?
Yep,
What
say
is it?
whatever you want.
What is it? I can't hear him when he's not.
I'm off, he said.
What?
I'm off.
I can't hear you.
I'm off.
You're something, all right.
Oh, so I'm on.
The other.
So he's
Still
just
on.
sticking with it.
Yes.
He really though. So the other weird thing that happened, and notable thing that happened, was the Ellenberger mishap, which I think is kind of bullshit the way that it happened. But he was fighting Masvidal and got aggressive, and they kind of like fell into the cage, and Ellenberger's foot slid underneath the cage, and he tried to get up and rolled his ankle, sat back down, and then he's sticking with it, trying to pull out, and Masvidal starts hitting him, and he's covered with one hand, trying to pull his foot out, and the ref stopped it for a TKO. And then, like, afterwards, realized his mistake.
Yeah.
Hey, Pat, pull up, there's a Rich Franklin fight. I forget who the hell he fought. That something very similar happened. What the heck is it? I just watched it.
It was in 2002.
Can't remember what his name was. But yeah, it ended up, this guy's leg went through the cage. And he ended up hurting himself, so they stopped it, and it got turned into a no contest. But yeah, the Ellenberger fight, it's like, we've seen fights, and granted, it's probably the wrong thing for the rules, but if the ref, makes a mistake, he knows he makes a mistake, he should be able to correct the mistake.
Yeah, but he didn't make a mistake.
Well, he did make a mistake because he
Why,
didn't
he wasn't
see
going
it.
to stop it? So you let him beat him on the head?
No,
With his
no.
legs stuck?
You call time.
Time. That's
Oh,
a time.
you can call
That's
time.
a call time. Yeah,
Oh,
that's a
you
time.
You can call time
out.
if somebody's finger comes out of the glove, or if the gauze comes
Gauze.
apart. You can call time
Oh,
whenever you want.
who was the ref? Herbie?
I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was Herbie.
I got his fights up.
See, I can't. Gotta zoom in or something.
Whichever one was a no contest.
Yeah, you have to go. It was a while ago.
All the way back in 2000.
There you,
Aaron Brink.
Yep, that's the one. Yeah, Brink's like whole leg went through. He ended up tweaking his knee or something like that, and they stopped the fight for it, and then they got changed to a no contest. Are you unplugging things?
No, I'm just gonna separate these guys.
But yeah, like Ellenberger, they could have. As long as the ref, I didn't see it. I saw a highlight of it. I didn't see it as it happened. But like, how long did the ref take to acknowledge his mistake?
Yeah, it was Herb. Yeah, it didn't take him long once he stopped it. He waved it off, but then he went out. He went outside the cage.
Immediately,
Yeah, and he asked,
'Cause-
"Look, it was a malfunction in the cage.
Yeah.
Can I restart the fight?" And the commissioner, whoever was there, said, "No,
You've got to be
can't
kidding me.
restart."
Who set this up?
Technical difficulty.
We have.
So,
We haven't been recording.
No, it's just been picking everything up through here.
oh wow.
I'm glad we did a test run.
Wow.
It sounded like
Yeah.
gold.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
So they haven't been hearing
Son
you?
of a bit. No, they've been hearing us, but they've been hearing us through the
The
microphones on the cameras,
Oh.
as opposed to the. So we've been wearing these headsets for no fucking reason for the last 15 minutes. Yeah.
So I believe at the beginning of the podcast, Jim was bragging that he was the one who set it up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
You're
I
supposed to-
distinctly remember
You're
that.
supposed to give me the final run through.
the final run through.
This
Son
is
of
the
a bitch.
final run through.
Yeah. Yep. I'll take that one. I'll take that one.
Some guy named Mike Pagano asked a question, but I can't read it because it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Is it that ridiculous?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. He wants to know who wins a TLC match between me and Caitlyn Jenner.
What's TLC?
I don't know. That's why I'm not going to
Tender
read it.
love and care match?
We're both loving.
Who's-
I
Come
think
on,
that's
Jack.
tables,
Come on. What is
ladder, chairs.
Tables,
Slow
ladders,
poke?
and chairs.
Slow,
Yeah, Slowpoke Rodriguez.
Slowpoke Rodriguez. Yeah, was it tables, ladders,
Yeah,
and chairs?
tables, ladders, and chairs. Some
Between
pro
you and
wrestling.
Caitlyn Jenner?
Yeah. I've never trained tables, ladders,
Oh,
and chairs, so I feel
Dude,
like I'd be at a
Caitlyn Jenner will
disadvantage.
whoop your ass.
Yeah.
There's an Olympian
Yeah.
right there.
I bet you would.
An Olympian.
Yeah. Nope.
You're done.
the Kathleen.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Stupid question, Mike. I would get my ass kicked.
She has like 80.
That's going to be the answer to most questions, Pat versus. Stupid question, I would get my ass kicked.
Pat versus two elephants.
Bam.
Done.
Done, done.
That would look like that video.
Yeah.
Lose his head.
Yep. Yeah. Whatever. We finished the thought on the Ellenberger fight, right?
Yeah,
Before we fixed
I
the-
think he should have been allowed to restart the
Oh,
fight if
yeah.
it was, if there was no injuries and Ellenberger was still able to continue, especially with the commission standing right there. The commission, I mean, really,
Yeah.
just because I understand it's hard because there are certain things you can't, but in that situation where that it was his foot caught under
Yeah.
the cage, and it wasn't like, oh well, I might have stopped it a little too early. He's still able. Like those are the ones you can't go back. Like if a guy gets knocked down and they think it's the ref stops it, but then the guy just stands right up
Yeah.
and be like, I wasn't that bad. Well,
Yeah, that's
but it's
that's
tough.
different.
That's really tough.
Well, I mean, it's like we had one of our training partners, have the submission in the fight, and everybody's screaming on the side of the cage, and the ref thought the guy tapped, and he didn't tap, and then the commission told him that he didn't tap, so then they restart the fight.
Yeah.
And granted, it was probably wrong by the way that the rules are.
Yeah.
But because what it should probably end up going to is then, let the guy, argue it and then go to a no contest because the commission's on his side.
Yeah.
But it was the correct thing to do because he didn't tap, and it's guy's fucking foot's caught in the cage.
Yeah. You could clearly see it.
Yeah, everybody could see it. Why the hell is he going to sit there on his ass, pulling on his foot with one hand, or both hands, and then pulling on his foot with one hand and he's trying to cover up? It is clear that it was something happened, and it's not, granted, it very, very well likely is going to get, overturned, but
Hopefully.
I think it will.
Yeah, you can't have, especially Ellenberg coming on. I mean, for a loss, really, that's not. Yeah.
The rules say go until the ref stops it, but do you think that Masvidal should have kind of noticed that it was stuck in the cage?
That's not his job at all.
Yeah.
If you would notice an opponent's foot was stuck in the cage, would
you might
stop?
not. You might not.
He might not
have
because it's not his job.
Yeah.
His job is to finish the
He's
fight.
just
And
going.
if Ellenberger's just laying there, he doesn't. You don't really. Not really paying attention. I mean, you're going after the guy where it's you're not looking at everything. Yeah, it's not his job. He did the right thing by continuing to fight because the ref didn't stop it. It was Herb. Herb should have noticed it.
Yeah, he should have called timeout then.
Yeah.
He's allowed to call timeout.
Yeah, he's definitely
Totally allowed to call timeout.
Yeah,
We've been in fights where they called timeout.
yeah.
Timeout. Your dad's a douche.
Timeout. Jim's out of breath.
What?
Ooh, some heat.
When has that ever happened? So I want to tell you. So the last episode that we had with Mickey on here, we ended up splitting into two. I was at the time of this recording. I haven't posted the second half yet, but doing a little editing for that to try to split them up and then to get some introductions. And we continually keep messing up the workflow here somehow. So we had to chop off the first couple minutes. So I'm like, oh, I gotta record something and explain this stuff, do the intro and all that stuff, and I had to lock myself in my closet in the house because the kids were screaming. So I'm in the closet Hey guys, welcome to the Hands On Podcast. And next thing you know, like Wyatt comes running up, Dad, what are you doing?
I'm coming out of the closet.
Yeah, coming out of the closet.
That'd be
I
good.
locked myself in the closet.
About friggin' time.
About time. About time.
First MMA fighter, huh?
No.
No.
No. Following in a long line.
Following a long line.
Mm-hmm.
Any UFC fighters?
No, just in our family. You. What I was talking about.
Yes, there are openly gay UFC fighters.
Women?
Yeah,
Well, you're going to be the first man,
apparently.
No, there was a guy. He was on Ultimate Fighter. Or...
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
but he didn't make it in the UFC.
I don't know. I didn't
Does it matter?
follow that
Doesn't
closely.
matter.
It doesn't matter.
So,
More importantly, we got a couple questions to the hands-on podcast at gmail.com,
mhm.
and I'd like to run through a couple of those. The first one
I want to know who sent them, from where,
Yeah.
and a little bit about them.
about
A little background.
A little
person?
background about them. Yeah, because I know that people they don't just write a question.
No, that's true. That's true. So this was
Like the
from
Grandpa Joe, he gave us a background.
Yeah, he did.
He
And
did,
so
yeah.
So the other guy, Lane.
Lane. Nope. Well, this was Bill. He didn't say where he was from. His email is Billy's on. Well, I don't want to give out his email. That's not right. Because then people would be emailing him.
Right.
Right?
Don't
I'm
wanna
not.
do that.
I'm not going to do that. But his question to the group is, what is your favorite MMA fight and why?
Who are you? You're looking at me.
Well, I think everybody should answer it.
Yeah.
Billy didn't specify who.
Billy
He was
didn't
probably
specify.
aiming it at me, but I'll
Yeah,
let you
probably
guys
was.
answer too.
My favorite MMA fight. I'm gonna have to. Probably gonna have to go with Fedor versus Crow Cop. Well, I don't know. It's either Fedor Crow Cop or it's Vanderlei Crow Cop. Both of those, like,
How come we have to do that? Because my favorite, it was when back in Pride, same thing, but it was Shogun when Shogun won the tournament. He beat Rampage. That was just that whole thing to me with that string for Shogun was just ridiculous. That whole tournament for him was just ridiculous, and it was a good fight, and I don't know, that one stands out in my mind. Shogun winning that.
I think I have to go with Crow Cop Vanderlei, just because Vanderlei was undersized, a 205 pounder going in the heavyweight tournament, and he fucking got laced to the liver, a couple times, and his whole side is all beat up and red, and he still fought his ass off, and ended up.
Didn't he got kicked?
Yeah,
Off the head, across
yeah.
the top of the head.
It took a couple.
Boom.
But I mean, that was probably my favorite one, just because it was not so much. I mean, because Crow Cop at that point was just on fucking fire, but and it was fun to watch. But Vanderlei's performance, Vanderlei's toughness, and an ability to kind of absorb strikes and kicks that made other guys just completely wilt.
Yeah.
And that was a hell of a fight for him. Yours?
Boss.
Mine? Don't know.
The pumpkin. See him coming out of the woods today.
What was that?
Come on, what's your
Coming
favorite
out of
fight?
the woods.
What's your favorite fight?
My favorite fight?
Favorite fight?
Don't have one.
No?
They're all good.
That answer
Excuse
has
me.
been deemed
Yeah,
unacceptable,
I
and
think we should.
we'll circle back
As
to
a
you.
as a fan, there has to be a fight that sticks out
Well, probably.
that neither of your sons were in.
Neither of my sons were in? Well, I was going to say your cowboy fight was a good one. Dan's Paula Harris fight was a good one.
I said neither of your sons were in.
Probably
Fuck you,
Bonner.
old man.
Probably
Fuck
Bonner.
you.
I like seeing my sons get hurt. Yeah.
Probably Bonner Griffin.
Yeah.
The first Bonner
Old
Griffin.
reliable.
Bonner, yeah.
Oh wow,
First Bonner.
that's cliche.
Well, it was a good fight.
was a good
I mean,
fight.
It was
Yeah.
back and forth.
No, it was.
I
the whole
remember. I remember
time.
coming
Obviously,
downstairs.
it was a
Turn
fantastic
on Spike TV.
Yeah.
That was. I mean, because I didn't watch much Pride, if any.
You didn't, because you were a bitch back then. You didn't.
Wow.
I didn't.
Well, that was cold. I'm sorry.
That was ice
That was-
cold.
Yeah,
That
it
was-
was.
yeah.
That was.
douchebag.
Well, he was trying to tell us not.
You weren't going into fighting then.
He was
You were
trying to
in
tell us not
fucking
to
high
fight.
school.
Yeah, he told us not to fight. He's like, "Don't fight. What do you want to get your face punched
No.
in? Don't
Well,
fight."
really,
Well,
what did you want to get your face punched in for?
I'm still pretty. I got my face punched in.
That's
I'm still
right.
pretty.
Right? Who says that?
My
Your wife?
kids.
Your
My
kids.
kids say I'm handsome.
Your kids.
Super handsome.
Wait, just fucking wait. You used to say I was handsome too. Just
Sure.
fucking wait, bud. I hope I'm live for that.
No, actually,
Be like,
my kids
"Daddy,
are nice.
You were a bitch.
My kids are nice.
You were a bitch.
My kids aren't douchebags like us.
You know,
I'm actually.
you wanted
yeah.
us. You wanted us to go into bull riding.
I didn't want you to go into bull
No,
riding.
over.
Yeah, over fighting.
fighting. Like
Definitely.
you were like.
Well, you
let's
would have
see.
been a good bull rider.
I know. I would've
Dan,
been a
not
bull
so
rider.
much.
I know.
Fuck you.
It's all about the grip strength.
Well, you're light. I mean, that's the problem. It's nothing against you, Dan, but it's just fucking inertia.
I know that.
You got a fucking fat ass on a fucking
We're
bull.
still doing it.
And he bucks.
I was.
It's
I
hard
was
to
a
keep.
lot- I was
190
a
pounds.
lot
Hard to keep.
smaller.
Right.
I was
it's
a
hard to
lot
keep.
smaller.
Right.
I was 190 pounds.
That's still too big.
It is.
The bull
but-
riders aren't that big. It's a whole lot easier to keep 135, 145
and also,
pounds.
we had never ridden a bull
Yeah,
before.
no,
we
on the
wrestled.
saddle.
We wrestled for
Than a freaking.
whatever it was.
a million years.
Yeah, a lot of
Um,
years.
I had dinner with Todd Hayes, and he was
Did
telling
you?
some bull riding stories. It's like, fuck, we still need to do it. Like, I still need to do it.
Yeah. I gotta lose some weight.
He's like, you gotta get down. He's like, you
Really?
just go to the,
You jump on.
Womp.
This is the best.
Your legs are gonna go out.
The bull didn't want to
That's an
move.
easy 13 seconds,
he's
though,
like,
right?
he's like,
He
you gotta.
squash flat, or he's gonna. The bull's
gotta-
gonna laugh and be like, "Holy shit! All I gotta do is buck a little bit."
Yeah.
You got to go to. He's like, you got to go to one of the events that has, like, they'll have like a catwalk that's above the chutes, and he's like the sounds and the screaming that comes out of those bull chutes. He's like,
Really?
like, it's so fucking intense. He's like, the bulls are just like making all sorts of fucking noises.
Ready to go.
Yeah, or fucking fired up. Well, they got a rope around their pecker,
Yeah.
but you know, they want to kick your ass.
Yeah.
And then you got like the hype men. So you got the guy that's, you know, pulling the bull rope and setting you on the bull rope, and guy opening the chute, and, you know, all the other cowboys and stuff, and they're all fired up, and yeah, he said it's pretty intense. Told the story of his last, him and his brother, their last ride.
Yeah.
It's where his brother didn't ride, wouldn't ride Little Tornado,
Really?
and then Hayes got bucked off and kicked in the back of the head, and he said he was wearing his black cowboy hat, and he's like, I had that thing pulled down on my eyebrows, and it actually took a chunk out of the cowboy hat, and like just knocked his hair off.
Yeah.
Like booted him, boom, right in the back of the head. He was out. He was only a young kid, teenager. But yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I think I'd break in half at this point, but
Probably.
it'd still be fun.
Be so stiff right now. I'm turning into the old man where it's like can't move, I can barely touch my toes.
It's genetic.
Yeah. Turning so stiff.
Feet are slowly turning out.
Your feet are out.
They're not that
Not
far out.
turning out. I followed you
No.
today.
Yeah, I did too. I followed Jim's tracks. Fuck you.
Hey, fuck you. Looked like two guys walking back to back, sideways.
Who the hell is sidestepping in this woods?
There were two guys hunting back to back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one guy wasn't even wearing
Orange.
orange.
Really?
Dummy.
Yeah.
So what? We got any other questions, Patrick?
Yeah.
Do we have a couple more? Any advice for people trying to get into the sport, new and upcoming fighters?
New and upcoming fighters, or brand new fighters like Green?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to interpret the question, and
Yeah.
I'm going to make it a two-parter. For someone that is never trained before but wants to get into it, do you have any advice? And then for someone looking to break through to that next level, do you have any advice?
You know, you don't even have to break it into two,
No.
because the advice is to do it, to train. That's really it. It's the secret to it.
Stay active.
Yeah, just train. You know, like we had it kind of, I wouldn't say easy, but the motivation was easier for us because
You
it
had
was
to deal with the old man every day.
Yeah. Go take
So-
your aggression out someplace.
Yeah.
No,
Deal
it was
with the old man. Let's play in a fucking dumpster. While we're supposed to be working. Let's play in a dumpster and fucking roll around
Got
for
the job
2
done.
hours.
Yeah, come on.
kind of. So, you know, it was never like, oh, I don't really feel like going today, or, you know, I'm tired today, because we had our training buddy, you know, so it was a little bit easier for us. So I'd say that probably try to find somebody that is that also wants to do it with you, so that like you kind of motivate each other to go there, or just sack up and do it.
Yeah.
You know, like it.
Put the time in.
Yeah, it's just getting on the mat and spending time at it. You know, whatever that is, it like you just need to put the reps in, and yeah, just get after it and train. That's really it. That is the question. New up and coming fighters, same thing, as opposed to people just trying to get on the mat for the first time. Just do it. Just do it. There is no getting into shape in order to train jiu-jitsu, or getting into shape in order to train Thai.
Yeah, I don't ever get
just do it.
those. People do say that, where I got to get into shape before I come there. Just come in. You'll get in shape by doing it. And for the up and coming fighters, just stay busy. You know, one of the things that I don't get now is like, for a guy that's, trying to make it to the next level where they'll fight and then they'll take time off, and, it's like, excuse me, they just do it, man. Just get in and start fighting and continue. As long as you're healthy, just, stay active.
Yeah. I had my 6th fight a year and a day after my first fight. You know, it was we were in there, and we why be training and going through all this stuff and not training for a fight?
No, yeah.
So it wasn't. It's not like, hey, you can do this and fight once and then take a 2-month vacation from training and stuff like that. Just get in there and get after it. That I had a realization just the other day too, and it sucks that it's like 2 weeks after, but it was just the 10th anniversary of my fight with Frankie.
Yeah.
Fuck, 10 years. Crazy. That's fucking crazy. Like, I
So if you're out there, Frankie, send
did-
me a bouquet of flowers.
Yeah. It did. It did.
And he forgot.
Yeah.
That motherfucker
Motherfucker,
forgot.
He popped my losing cherry,
Yeah.
and I popped his ear. You know, what sucks is I should have made reference to that, right before, because it was like a week after our fight,
Yeah.
in New York. And it's like, there we are, practically 10 years later, fighting on the same card.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild for, like, the two of us to fight locally, him to make it to the UFC,
Yeah.
me to be behind him, whatever it took, a year and a half, and then fucking 10 years after the fact, we're fighting, on the
Yep.
same card. So it's pretty wild.
Hey, I got just to circle back to that question about what do you have for advice? You and I, Jim, had a pretty interesting conversation about handpicking your opponents. Right? We were talking about guys who were fighting and how they were trying to pick opponents. It was an interesting conversation. I'd like you to try to create it again organically. Hey, Jim, what do you think about handpicking opponents?
I'm the luckiest fighter ever. In my opinion, it depends on where you want to go. Like, the idea of picking somebody and picking a style for me never even dawned on me, because the way that I looked at it was that, I want to be the best. I want to be fighting the elite, and it doesn't matter if somebody's a grappler or somebody's a striker, or whatever they are. I'm going to have to beat that eventually. And granted, if I wasn't, if I didn't have a 20-year wrestling pedigree by the time I stepped into the cage the first time, I probably would have avoided wrestlers. But I just don't. I don't know. You gotta have that motivation. Like, that's. I always wanted those fights that. It's like, I got to get better. This guy's dangerous here, and here. I got to get better in order to beat him. And then it kind of drives you to train. The most nervous I've ever been was actually after the Frankie fight, my following fight. I was fighting. That's the only time I fought a guy with a losing record.
Yeah.
And I was as nervous as fucking hell, because it's like Frankie had already fought in the UFC, and beat Tyson Griffin, and it's like, fuck, I could be there. Like, I am fucking right there.
Yeah.
With a team, I'm there.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, now I'm fighting the guy with a losing record.
Yeah.
Like, I can't lose to this motherfucker. So I've never liked the idea of
You should always go in and try to push yourself. Picking opponents that stylistically are easy fights for you doesn't make sense. You should go in and try to push yourself. Pick opponents that are going to push you to get better in the gym, because when you go to sleep at night knowing that guy is better than you in this discipline should drive you the next day to be better, to work harder. And, I agree. I mean, I don't think I've never went into a fight or got an opponent was like, okay, well, had a choice. It was like, that guy's easier to fight, so I'm going to take that guy. It was always like, just, it was pretty much, you pick the hardest on the local level. It was pick the hardest fight we could get.
Get the hardest and biggest fight you could get.
Yeah.
That's it.
It doesn't matter what style he had or whatever it was. It was, what's the biggest fight and the hardest fight we could pick? Well, then that's who we want. Let's go after him. So
and even that guy with the losing record, that was a title fight.
Yeah.
He had won the title.
Yeah.
So that was the big fight, even though it was,
Yeah, after
in terms of opponent and matchups and styles, it was a step back, but
yeah.
it was like it was the big fight. It wasn't like, hey, let's get a gimme.
No, yeah,
But it was,
never.
it was like, holy shit, dude.
Because you always needed that push in the gym too. I mean, getting if you've got a, I mean, not that that's the way it's going to be, but I mean, to me, if you got a gimme fight or a fight that's a hard fight, like the hard fight, like you're going to go in, and you're going to make sure that you train hard and prepare yourself for this fight, and that's the way fighting should be. It should be a war. It should be hard every time. Essentially, if you can go make it easy work, then you prepared yourself, well enough in the gym. But every fight should be that, like, gut wrenching kind of, holy crap, this is going to be a knockout, drag out kind of fight.
Have you ever turned a fight down? Did you ever say, no, I don't want to fight that guy right now?
Nah, I don't never turn the fight down.
Not stylistically. I turned a fight down because of timing wise. I'd hadn't been training for like, I don't know, 6-8 weeks, and got offered a fight on a week notice. I don't think I should do that. Not at this juncture in my career. But yeah, that's
Especially because you were $185 too.
I was not a $185 at that point. No, I didn't.
He was $182.
Yeah. Probably about there. I was.
So 30 pounds a
I
week.
wasn't that big when we did the kitchen. I wasn't that big. I wasn't that big because I was carrying your ass all fucking day.
Oh, yeah.
Holy moly.
For the 3 days that you helped me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no.
See, so you want to be a fighter, you can rent me as the douche dad.
That's right.
To motivate you to be a fighter.
We actually did. That leads pretty well into our next question. I wasn't going to ask it because I don't think that we on the Hands On podcast are mature enough to ask it. But
We're not.
the old
Don't
man has a pretty impressive parenting record. 2 UFC fighters, a doctor, and I don't want to mess up what Karen does. She's a social worker and actually does some awesome things helping people.
She works for a DA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
She's a court liaison.
you have any parenting advice for the how do you create doctors, fighters?
Marry
How
the
to
best
raise-
woman you can find.
Yeah, I knew we weren't mature enough to answer it.
Wear tight jeans.
Yeah.
Have a 38-inch inseam.
I'm gonna have to
No
Sock
ass.
down your pants.
Yeah, stuff the sock down your pants.
I'm gonna have to cut those 2 off so you can answer this question.
You'll never be able to cut them off. That ain't happening. Parenting advice.
Yep. What do you
Be their
attribute your
friend.
success?
Got to be their friend. Just don't be a parent, be a friend. I think my sons can say that I mean, they could come to me and tell me anything, and we were friends. Not just, oh, I'm the dad. You know,
It's
you
that
listen.
friend you really want to suck in the mouth.
But see, that's the thing. You're their friend, and everything they do to you, they did to me years ago. So.
Wait, whoa.
There's things that happen between these guys that I don't think
You could be in jail for that.
I just saw Pat's on.
Hey, what?
Holy
I
shit.
was trying to lay it.
I
It
see.
was a softball.
I told you I was experienced, fat.
I'm gonna giraffe
He's like,
myself.
it's like Dan peed on me when he was 8 months old. He's like, I'm the OG.
No, I would have to agree with the old man. I mean, growing up, it was never, obviously, he was 6'4", giant man, and he was, it was scary. But we also had a good relationship where we did talk to him, and we did, we played, and he was always available.
And
So-
also, like they said, a good mother.
Definitely.
You
a
know,
good
that's
mother.
the thing. She made dinner.
Very a good woman.
We ate
Yeah.
we ate dinner together every night. So you talked around the dinner table every night. It was no, okay, we're stopping and getting McDonald's and eat it on the way home, and then we had dinner at the table. So there was always a conversation at the table.
Whether it was
and
fi-
nothing was off limits.
Whether it
No,
was
nothing was
whether it
off
was
limits at the
5
dinner
o'clock or 9 o'clock, it
Right,
didn't
5
matter.
o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. Didn't make any. We sat down at the table, ate dinner together, and that was all under Mom. I mean, she did that. So, other than that, just be a scumbag to him.
Nobody said scumbag. We said
Yeah,
douchebag.
douchebag.
Scumbag is mean.
Yeah, scumbag is mean. Douchebag is being like, you're
It's
a
a
douche.
term of endearment.
Well, then you better
Come on, you
you
douche.
better tell that to somebody.
Yeah, the bus driver.
Come on, guy. It's
Come
a
on.
term of endearment.
It means I like you, you douche.
Come on, douche. Give him a punch in the arm.
Yeah. Oh, Wyatt Miller.
But every
You
man
have to
made fun of
elaborate
that.
on that now.
Yeah,
because you touched
didn't
on it.
Borgia make fun of me that I used to call everybody a douche?
I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
Borgia used to tease me too, didn't he?
Did he?
I thought so. I know Constantino did.
Douche. Well, everybody thinks douche is like a bad. I don't think douche. Like when I call somebody douche, it's like Jim said, it's a term of endearment. It's like it's not
Yeah.
like I'm never mad at like the douche. Sometimes
really
my kids
weird.
are douches.
It's really- yeah. Stop being a douche.
Yeah, don't be a douche.
I don't think that's a sentiment shared with the rest of the world. I
No.
No.
Yeah.
think douche is like
Yeah. When
It's
you're,
hard though.
When
'cause you're
I
like,
when my
grew up with
5-year-old yells douche on the bus.
I'll have to go have a talk with the bus driver.
Yeah.
He's just
it means he likes
being friendly.
Yeah.
It's not an insult, bud.
Don't be a douche.
Just don't be a douche. And
he wouldn't call you a
that.
douche if he didn't like you.
I think we've said the word douche like 300 times.
Yeah, maybe more times we can bring it out.
We're going to hit the quota, the yearly quota.
Up next, Randall,
The
a
douche.
Yeah.
Hey, douchebag.
You're in, Randall. That means you like it. He wants to know what you think about the new MMA association.
I don't know enough about it yet. You know, it's I have a bunch of respect for all the guys who are part of it, you know, and not just for becoming part of it. For each one of them, you know, the way they carry themselves and you know, Kennedy, Cowboy, Kane, Dillashaw,
St.
Pierre. You know, they're all those guys that you know, were part of the ground floor. I hold them in high regard. Bjorn is, you know, we'll see what that's the thing. He's kind of the caveat for me. Is it's like, well, I didn't really like the way he ran Bellator. So I don't know what his, you know, if
His end game is.
yeah, I'm sure that, you know, to get that far with those guys, his motivation must be, you know, it's got to be pure, and he's not part of the committee or anything like that. He's just kind of.
It's something that has to be done, though.
It is something that
It's
has to be
something
done.
that has to be done.
You know?
And it's good to see some of the higher profile
Yeah,
guys
no,
stepping
I'm-
up and being a part of it. It
I-
has to be done.
It does. It's. I mean, that's. I heard something like half the fighters on the roster have already like joined up with them.
Really?
That means I got to get on my phone and text somebody. You know, or just find out some more
Yeah.
about it. You know, like it's. I didn't think that it was going to happen during my career. I just didn't see any momentum towards it. You know, everything that kind of was happening got snuffed out. But
well, you finally
once they
have.
sold it.
Well, also, it was in the works before they sold it. It's you finally have
like
the
2 years.
higher guys getting fed up with it.
Yeah.
They're fed up with it because it's not. I mean, the way they treat the fighters. Listen, the UFC is, they are what they are. I mean, they're a business, but they're you have these fighters coming on, and they're basically fighting for peanuts. Peanuts. I mean, you're supposed to be a professional athlete on TV, fighting at the highest level, and fighting for, and barely scraping by, and then when your career ends, it's like, well, we'll see you later, and it has to change, or the sport is gonna go to shit.
What happened? What came out when Cole came out? And had his rant, kind of. Leading up to his fight, he's fighting in like 2 weeks or whatever. But he was supposed to fight on the card in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And the card ended up getting canceled. He was like at the airport or on his way to the airport or something when it got canceled. Totally heard that one. You didn't even try to make that discreet.
Built up like a mother.
Yeah.
Be a professional. You got to work through stuff like that.
I got a story for you after we're done with this thought here. So
I feel better if that helps.
Yeah, you look happy.
Yeah.
So
what
ended up happening is what ended up happening is that the fight didn't get canceled. It wasn't like Cole. Yeah, it wasn't like Cole said I can't fight, or he got sick after weigh-ins or something like that. Where like, okay, well, we give you, we'll reimburse you this or something like that. Or if I weigh in and my opponent weighs in and my opponent then has to pull out, they usually give you fight and win money. He got like $10,000, like.
Yeah, for the UFC saying we're not putting this card on, and Cole prepared the whole training camp,
and then
put all that work in,
and then you it's not. I mean, that's the thing, is he's the only one who said something about it.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
in the way, and I'm fairly certain I'm correct on this, Cole doesn't live where he trains, so he spent some time away from his family, from his kids. I mean, he made some real deal sacrifices for $10 fucking grand. It's ridiculous.
It's tough, man. It's a tough spot to be in, and I believe, and I know that. I mean, whenever I lurk on forums and stuff like that, and just you look at people's opinions, there are people that disagree with me on this, and they're just fans. But I believe that you will see better performances out of fighters if they're not as worried about it, if it's not as stressful.
I completely agree.
Being
in the situation where you're
the whole hungry side of it. Oh, well, you got to keep them hungry, and you got to, if they don't have to do this, if they don't have to do that, then they won't be hungry to train and fight. There are obviously going to be incentives. There's still going to be incentives. If you have a salary, so okay, you get a salary and then you work your way up.
Well, what is your end game in fighting? Just to make a paycheck?
No, of course not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then what is this hungry bullshit?
I'm not
I know.
it.
I'm just saying the hungry stuff is to win a title.
Yeah.
Is to be the best in the world. Is to beat the opponent that's in front of you. That's the hungry part. The paycheck is something that is yeah, it's a good thing, but it could be a hell of a lot better. You know, and you're still going to get performances, probably better performances off of people that aren't as stressed out.
I guarantee you will.
Yeah.
I guarantee you will, because a majority of the times that somebody comes out and says that they're stressed out about,
who doesn't agree with you?
I'm saying that there are
people out there.
There are people out there. There are fans out there.
Stuffing Cheetos in their mouth
stop.
in their friggin' basement.
It's not
Because anybody who watches
that's a
why.
misconception.
Well, okay.
That is a misconception.
what
You are
you're
that
saying-
is a broad paintbrush you got there.
What you're saying is then these people don't watch professional football because, Tom Brady isn't going to perform because he got the paycheck. Or any football player.
Well, he's going to
It's
have
the
somebody
same way
deflate the ball.
What's that? But it's the same way with you guys.
Yeah,
I mean, baseball players. I'm going to go freaking strike out 4 times this game because.
I mean, there's obviously
No.
like it's clear to it's obviously clear to us that there's still incentive. There's still incentive because there's going to be pay scales.
Right.
You know, if you're performing, you're going to be making more money. If you're not performing, you're not going to be making more money. There's still, you know, there's a whole myriad of ways that it could pay off for people. But again, like, it's the hardest part about it is that there's no way at this point of proving you belong in the UFC until you've been in the UFC and you've stayed in the UFC. Like, that's the hardest part about it all. Like, oh well, up the minimum to, 25 and 25. It wasn't that long ago that they brought in guys that had like 4 fights, on a week notice. Like, to throw them 25 grand is hard. It's hard because, yes, you're doing it because they're fighting on that level and you need them to fight on that level. But it's like, have they necessarily earned it? Like,
well,
I
that's
personally,
like, there's a minimum in nearly all professional sports.
well, I know
The minimum is way higher than 25 and 25.
I know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, like, still the average UFC career is like 4 fights.
I understand that, but
You know?
you're still performing at a high level. You need to get your chance.
I know you need to get your
You're
chance.
still performing for a company that's
The company could do different.
Yes, I know. I understand it. I would have liked to have been making more than 5 and 5 for my debut. And I make what I make because I fucking won. I've stayed around for fucking
10 years.
Not 10 years,
Well,
8
8
years.
8 years.
Fucking scratched and clawed my way to this point. But I think that the first step, okay, yes, you could increase the minimum and all that stuff. The first step would be like, hey, if you've made it to 8 fights or 10 fights in the UFC, it's like benefits. Here's actual insurance. Here's a salary. Here's fucking.
But you're talking about keeping the proportions the same.
No, I'm not.
Then it shouldn't even matter. You're talking about if they're paying out,
if they're paying 50%,
if they're
that
paying
should
out
be
what
like,
they should pay out, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're talking about it benefits making 8 fights. Screw that. The guy that comes in and comes in on short notice with 4 fights should be making a hell of a lot more than 25 and 25. They're putting their ass on the line in that fucking octagon.
All right, Ricky Williams made a lot of money. He didn't play football for fucking shit, did he?
Yeah. Later on in his career, he started playing.
I agree with Dan, and it with what they're pulling in, they could afford to do it.
Exactly. If
right?
you're paying
Do the
it,
right thing.
you're looking at every other sport is 40. I think the minimum is 40%. They're paying out 40. Hey, the old man knows. Old man,
What?
what's the minimum? Who pays the least amount?
Out of professional
Professional sports. Basketball.
UFC.
No.
Well, yeah, they
basketball
pay
or-
8%. Yeah.
Well, no,
I'm not
basketball
talking
is
about-
basketball is 50%.
And what's baseball?
Hockey is like 46%.
Okay, so
So 46
hockey's
is lower than
46%.
50.
What's that?
He was asking the lowest.
I'm asking
The
the
lowest is hockey, which
Hockey.
is
So
46%.
Even if you said 40%, they're paying 8% now.
Right, they're paying 8. Even if you said
So
30%,
fucking,
go 30%.
Screw
They're
all
not,
that
I'd
shit.
like a
I
5
mean-
times raise.
Well,
Exactly.
I'd like
the
more
thing.
than that, but
Dana talks like, oh, we're going to be like the NFL or any other professional, but he's so full of shit. He ain't going to be like anything because he's just a greedy fuck. I mean, he isn't going to get it there, and he doesn't want to promote it to be there.
Well,
so
the difference is too is it came from the problem with it is it came. They act like it's a professional sport, but they treat it like a business.
right,
They
treat it
talk
like
it's. They talk like it's a professional sport. Like they compare it to football, they compare it to baseball, but then they treat it when they talk to the fighters and the way they pay, they do it like a business. The fighters should be making a hell of a lot more than 8%,
right.
and it should be spread out.
And it's like I have said. I mean, he canceled this show, so the UFC did lose money.
Oh my goodness! We just got a picture of one of our kids coaches from his senior year of high school.
senior year in high school, yeah.
Who's that, Frank?
Fantastic, Mo.
Can you email
Coach
it to me? I
Mo.
could put it up here.
Yeah, sure
to,
thing. Here you go, Mo.
Email it to the
Fantastic
Hands-On
picture.
Podcast. It is good.
We were talking about mullets before we came on air, and
I'm going to send another one, too.
and he was
said
like,
he
I
had a mullet?
kind of had a mullet. I kind of had a mullet. So we'll show you guys in a second.
That wasn't really. I mean, I'd say that's more like hairbandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so we'll go back to the UFC before this picture comes up. It's kind of ridiculous, and especially.
Well, now it's like you said. Now that you got the high-profile guys stepping up, and
yeah, we're
trying
talking
to
about
do
the elite of the elite
Yeah.
in the organization. I mean, Kane is one of the top heavyweights. Dillashaw
Right.
is one of the top.
right,
Bantam. Was it bantamweight?
and see, then
Yeah.
people will believe. See, because most of the people were believing what the UFC propaganda was
Yeah.
out there. That we're
They
paying
treat
the
their
fighters
fighters
well. We
fantastic.
treat our fighters good. Now, if they hear Cowboy say, "Well, really, I'm not making what I should have made, or I'm not getting this," okay, fans might now be like, "Oh, well, yeah, I get it."
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago, all they believed was what Dana said.
Yeah.
Randall actually just had a pretty good point. He said that he's amazed to see UFC only pays out 8%. Of that 8%, how much goes to the McGregor-type fighters? So you're divvying up a small portion, and I think McGregor's getting a big slice of that
McGregor's
8%.
getting a big percentage. Jones was getting a big percentage, but it is. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the rest of the fighters. They're not. They're not making that much. I don't really know. I don't know exactly what McGregor makes and exactly what
Well, yeah, you
Jones
don't,
was
because
making and
they don't
what-
post their points.
yeah.
You don't get that. I mean, they did say his last fight he made $5 million.
So here we go. This is our kids coach and brown belt.
He's also
Oh.
he's also our graphic designer that
Yeah.
we've got
Fantastic man.
so
Good and fantastic hair.
yeah.
I
look at
wish
that.
I had hair like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And,
And
Mo
now he's
is,
bald.
Mo is so bald. What a shame.
And now if you go over, this is
I
this
didn't know
is
he
this is
bald
a
and
sneak
shaved
preview at the next Miller Brothers MMA rash guard. I wanted something absolutely obnoxious. So he drew up the Spartan with the hammer, and he's like, I want him like charging through something. He's like, I'm thinking maybe like great white sharks or something. I'm like, well, it should be like great whites or bears or lions or something like that. So we went with the Bears, and I think it is fucking glorious.
He nailed it.
He did nail it. I mean, that's just manliness right there.
We got to do a run of those shirts that people could order.
We will, yes.
If you want to order a shirt, email the handsonpodcast@gmail.com.
If you want to order a Miller Brothers MMA shirt, go to the store at millerbrothersmma.com.
Oh, there's a store.
There is a store. There is a store. Huh. We keep it in hiding because we're like that.
Yeah, we don't like to sell anything.
Hold on, get that out there again.
Who wants to sell anything?
You snuck it in that time. Even.
I did.
You can go to.
There's the store at millerbrothersmma.com. You can also find these fantastic handmade.
Excuse me.
In I think Wisconsin.
American made, guys.
American made. Look at
America.
that. Look at that. It's beautiful.
I don't have the camera on you right now.
And they all even have the old man on the bottom.
It's been on me the whole time.
Yeah, you can. So you can have your own.
But they are backwards, just so you know.
They're not backwards.
Jim ordered them as lefties.
I didn't
put the camera to me.
Yes, sir.
They're supposed to be when you're drinking it. You see the logo. Oh my God, this is an awesome logo.
Yeah, no, it should
see when you're a lefty. Then
when you're a lefty, it's right. But who's
if
lefty?
If you're a lefty, awesome people.
What lefty asshole placed this order?
Exactly.
Camera's on you, Jim.
So.
This one. No, they're fucking awesome.
They are great mugs. They drink
coffee
great.
mugs too.
There's coffee
Can
mugs.
koozies. About 1 million of them.
Yeah, still 1 million.
Still.
They're camo guys.
If you
Camo.
want to sell anything?
Go to the hands on. No.
Wait, what is it?
MillerbrothersMMA.com.
MillerbrothersMMA.com.
Go to the store.
The store.
/store.
Stuff.
I think something like that.
/store.
/store.
Put
ask for Bobby.
Don't
ask
do
for Bobby. Don't ask for Bobby.
Call the gym and ask for Bobby.
Yeah.
Take care of it.
All right. Yeah, I'd say just throw that picture back up. The Bears.
That's what we're gonna close
out
on.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna close out on this
love
picture.
that.
You're just gonna hear my sultry
Sexy
voice. And thank you guys for tuning into the Hands On Podcast. This was our 10th episode. Believe it or not, time flies when you're calling your dad a douche.
Yeah.
Tune in.
How many times did we say douche this
Time
episode?
flies
a
when
lot.
you're being a douche.
Somebody's gonna have to count that for us. Thank you very much for tuning in. We will see you next time.